Okay, I'd like to call to order the Pittsylvania County Board of Supervisors Economic Development Committee, Tuesday, December 15, 2022, 30 p.m. in the Chatham Community Center, Gallery Room, 115 South Main Street, Chatham. Roll call, please. Roll call, somebody.
Mr. Dudley.
Present.
Mr. Warren.
Here.
What?
Got one for.
You are.
And Mr. Farmer.
He's absent due to work conflicts. He did send me an email. He'll be here from 3:30, but he couldn't make the first two. Okay. Other items to be added to the agenda.
Not from staff, sir.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I make that a motion to approve agenda has been presented.
I'll second the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
New business, role and scope of IDA discussion. Mr. Rowe.
Absolutely.
Just know sometimes muffled. As many of you know, we're having a considerable changeover as far as with the IDA. We've had a lot of long-standing members that have done a great job for the county that are going off the board, and you gentlemen have replaced them with very competent individuals to serve in that capacity. And so it's an opportune time to be able to talk about really what this board sees with regards to that body and how that relates to the Board of Supervisors, but also to your staff members. And I think the timing is right, frankly. I've been with the county now for 5 years. I think as everybody around this table knows, nothing in economic development ever stays static. And so it's probably a good time, just as part of those new members coming on, to take a look at where this body wants the county to go at this point in time, because a lot's changed, I think, for the positive over the 5 years, especially with job creation and the types of industries that are coming into the county. So I see myself, honestly, in this capacity serving as a facilitator of discussion. I guess I would probably try to serve as your subject matter expert where you want it. But as I told the original folks who interviewed me for the position 5 years ago, I don't think it's the director's job to tell you their vision. I think it's the board's job to have that direct vision, and then for the director to try to come up with a plan of how best for you to accomplish your vision, since you represent the constituents. So I hope that there's a fair assessment, and I'll step back and you guys can please direct conversation.
It might be helpful, Matt, to talk about traditionally, just the last 10 years, what the IDA's been up to, because we have several board members that may not have that context.
My apologies. The IDA, of course, has the ability to act as a financing conduit for the county, and also to own property for the county. So over the past 10 years, for example, a great example of the work from the IDA is Axor North America, honeycomb manufacturer, supplier to IKEA, now also in the automotive realm, and doing a great job as far as in our community. So in that instance, the IDA developed the property as far as acquiring the property, grading the pad site. They then financed the construction of the shell building itself, recruited the company, provided the company with low interest financing as far as loans, and then through the process, and really this year, and this is a great example of the IDA doing great work, Axor purchased the building and the remaining debt. And the IDA made some money in the transaction that now they can use to reinvest back into other deals. And Axor is happy because it lowered their operating and startup costs during the most difficult times. And so that deal, in my mind, really encompasses really all of the roles that your IDA typically plays. I think the question that David and I respectfully have is that the IDA can play even more proactive role in the visioning, missioning, and making sure that they're understanding where the board wants to go, and then putting the resources that they have at their disposal into those projects. Is that a fair assessment?
Absolutely, and just as information, we will be doing a multi-month orientation for the board Matt's idea is to expose them to, whether it's virtually or in person, to professionals and thought leaders in economic development from not only across the Commonwealth, but maybe other places. Maybe introduce them to other IDA leaders to help them understand the role and purpose of being on an IDA and what that form and function looks like in action. We have SR RIFA. We have Danville, Pittsylvania County RIFA. We have the Old Dominion Ag Center that has some economic development function in that area. And we felt like with this clean slate, this was an opportunity for the Economic Development Committee to really put their thumbprint on what we want this group to be doing. Because it's, 7 out of 9, or no?
No, it's
6 out of 7 will have less than a year's experience?
Yes. That's what
So we
they're
have a brand-new IDA. It is a brand-new board. So this is a great opportunity for you to have input on their future.
Okay, comments from anybody?
I have got,
The gentleman that covers our area, this, of course, I think last week was his last meeting, and I'm still working on getting a replacement for him. But I talked to Bob and several others about it. I just don't want to get somebody and stick them there. I want the right person there. So if it takes a month, Skip, to get it, that's what I'm going to have to do. So.
To your point, Mr. Dudley, it takes a very unique skill
Yep.
set, good business sense, but also understanding the long game strategic
Absolutely.
planning, for sure.
Yep. I like somebody like in finance, banking, stuff like that understands. So.
Well, I for one, I'll speak and then maybe somebody else will decide they want to speak. But I for one am excited about the new board, but I'm also very appreciative of those that have served in the past.
Yeah.
Because we've had some that have served a good long time, and they did a great job, but change comes, new ideas, new focus. So I think we got a good group from what I've seen that's come on recently. So I think they will continue the good work. I do think Axor is a good model for what we've done. For me, I'm hoping IDA will use these funds wisely, and I'm sure they will, because we're going to keep our eyes on it too. But I think the focus for IDA should primarily be our industrial parks that are non-RIFA, Brosville Industrial, Gretna Industrial, and Chatham Industrial Parks. That should be our focus in any outlying areas. I know that Axor, for example, is in the Ringo Park, but not part of RIFA. So, obviously we have some outliers. Intertape would be an outlier type deal. But that's where the focus needs to be. Not to say that if we have that mega thing come up or whatever, that makes sense for IDA to be involved in something that involves RIFA, but that would be out of the norm. The norm for the IDA should be focused on Pittsylvania County.
That's right. I agree with that.
So I'm hoping that's just one board member. I don't know what the others feel like, but that's kind of my vision and my perspective. I expect you to be our conduit to deliver our visions and our messages from this board to the IDA and work with them and bring their vision and message back to us. Because it's important that we work together, and it's important we have someone that's communicating openly and honestly those points. So,
I think it's a very good point you bring up, Mr. Warren. I think also, it's one of the reasons why the county's had the success it has had in the past is because there has been good communication between the IDA and the board. There's some other communities where they don't communicate at all, and it really stagnates development.
One thing we could do, we have a really great partner in the Danville Regional Foundation, and I'm sure they would be very interested in participating in some way in this conversation. And once we explain to them that 6 of our 7 members have less than a year experience, they might help us develop the orientation program, Matt. They might help provide resources, like a facilitator or someone to help this IDA go through their purpose, scope, mission, role, and direction. And kick off this conversation in a way that can be bi-directional with this committee to, there's nothing wrong with taking 6 or 9 months as a new board to figure out what your purpose is. And that could be a reasonable direction to go.
If you remember, Smitherman, the DRF does have the See the Possible grant.
Yeah, oh, that's a great idea.
So they could, you could actually take them to other communities where you want to benchmark.
Yeah.
And that's what the city did, of course, when they did the Greenville, South Carolina benchmark.
Mr. Ingram had a comment.
No, I was going to say, I really appreciate what you said, because the smaller parks, like right now, like Chatham, once again, it's a shame to have such nice possibility there and not a real direct interest in expanding or developing anything with Rowe. To me, that's sort of like focusing on the mega plans, not to take anything
Sure.
away from IDA, but it'd be nice if maybe more, I guess, proactive, if you will, in the smaller parks that really need to be developed.
Good point.
Anybody else? Now's the time. Y'all's vision.
Good, great comments all the way around. Let's move forward.
And we'll be happy to introduce these concepts at their first meeting in January, and in the meantime, maybe talk to Clark and see if there's something we can partner with DRF on to help them get out of the gate.
As one of those orientations, if he would be willing, just from a historical standpoint, he's been so involved in our region, period, and has a pulse on what has happened in the county, would be Carl Starr. I don't know if he'd be willing to just come and share with the IDA during that orientation with 6 new members. He just has really good insight of, what it takes to make economic development work. And, he's been certainly very successful at it. So just food for thought for you all as you're thinking about. I think you gotta start, one, understanding some of the history to be able to get full understanding of where we need to go.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Would that be the first time to include the legislative side, like Gavin Marshall, that side, and folks like that?
I think it could be one of the things that I would honestly like the IDA to maybe interact with is to hear directly from, for example, Stephen Murray, the executive director of VDP, who oversees all the economic development functions, and that could really kind of tie that together. But I'm sure Danny would be more than willing to talk to that group as well.
Yeah, I think that the challenge for Matt and I and that board and their leadership of that board, whoever that may be, is to really program out the next year and plan incrementally how we get through this orientation period. And it's drinking out of a fire hose. What Mr. Warren's talking about alone is a fascinating perspective for one of either the first or second meeting, to see where we've come from, what we've accomplished, what we've done well at, what we haven't, and having a neutral third party to present that is a very effective way to do it. So maybe Matt and I will develop we'll just start with a 6-month plan, and once they elect their leadership, maybe we can sit down and chart a course. Luckily, they have no pressing issues. They've just wrapped up a big success. They're getting ready to enter into a new relationship, a financial relationship with Stanton River Plastics. It's just a really great opportunity to get this thing moving in the right direction.
And I'm excited about what's happening there, but again, that's back in a riffle park, so let's don't lose focus. That's really good, I'm glad we did that, so we got outside the realm, but let's don't lose where our focus should be for IDA.
Well, we appreciate that discussion. That's really all we hope to do today, was get your thoughts and get some ideas as to a path forward. So if if there's nothing else, we appreciate
Okay.
that discussion.
Matters from committee members.
Thank
I don't have anything either. Any board members got any? Like, no?
No, sir.
Mr. Skip?
No, sir.
Thank you. We'll entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I'll once again read this for the benefit of people at home. We have 3 closed session items this afternoon. The first one is discussion concerning prospective business or industry or the expansion of an existing business or industry where no previous announcement has been made of the businesses or industry's interest in locating or expanding its facilities in the community. Legal Authority Virginia Code Section 2.2, 3711A5, subject matters, projects Matterhorn, Cactus, and 500. Purpose, economic development updates, discussion on potential unannounced industries and businesses. Your second closed session matter is consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel. Legal Authority Virginia Code Section 2.2, 3711A8, subject matter AEP transmission line relocation agreement. Purpose, legal consultation / advice regarding related agreement. And your third closed session is, again, Legal Authority Virginia Code Section 2.2, 3711A8, subject matter 2021 contract proposal with Marcus and Millichap Brokers. Purpose, legal consultation advice regarding related agreement.
Have a motion. Go into closed session.
So moved.
you. Second.
We know what two committee members got.
Okay.
Economic Development Committee meeting of the Pittsylvania County Board of Supervisors on December 15, 2020. The committee hereby certifies by recorded vote to the best of each committee member's knowledge only the public business matters lawfully exempt from the open meeting requirements of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and identify the motion authorized the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered in the closed meeting. If any committee member believes that there was a departure from the requirements of the Act, he shall so state prior to the vote indicating the substance of the departure. The statement shall be recorded in the committee's minutes. Mr. Scares.
He's not on the committee. It's not on the committee. It's only Mr. Dudley and I.
Okay, Mr. Dudley.
Yes.
Mr. Warren.
Yes.
Meeting is certified.
We got, what, 4 minutes?
Yes, meeting adjourned.